Let's see, we got 36.
You have so many on. This is exciting.
I know, this is great. I'm so happy. Drop some new wave knowledge. Hey, Lisa.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Hi, ladies. Jumping on one call to another.
I know, it's gonna be back to back today, right?
Back to back.
All these names and faces, I know, it's so great. I want to say hi to everybody individually, but then, yeah, that would take a while, so. Let me see how many we got on here. Oh, people are just piling on. It's great. Right. Where are we at? We're at 39. When we hit 40, I'm going to start. How about that?
Works.
Anthony, in the chat.
Oh.
You going to hit 40? Money, big money, big money. No whammies, no whammies. Oh, there it is.
41. Wow.
Hi. Hey, Michelle. Everybody. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, Jen and I are very, very excited to share with you a little more insight into the new Goldwell texturizing waving service, New Wave. A lot of you guys may have heard of it, heard some things about it. Your sales consultant may have talked to you about it a little bit, but we want to dive a little bit deeper, share with you the technology behind New Wave, how it works, who it is appropriate for, because just like every chemical service, there is the right candidate for it and the candidate that it might not work as great for. So we're going to go over all of that, the tools, and the procedure on how to perform the service. However, before we do that, I'm going to first introduce myself. So I'm Jenny Smith. I know a lot of you guys, I've seen you all in your salons. We've done some live classes way back in the dark ages when we used to actually be in salons doing education. But we are very fortunate that we get the opportunity to do this so that everyone can get more information on some of these products. And hopefully in a few months, we will be getting back to, I'm not even gonna use the N word normal, I should just, but hopefully we can get to a place where, we can see each other in person more often again, very soon. So I'm Jenny. So despite what it says on the bottom of my screen, it does say Tanya Romano, but mine and Jen, because that is the host of our Zoom call, it will say Tanya Romano, but I am Jenny Smith. I'm going to turn it over to the other Jen to do a little bit of housekeeping on how to make the most of a virtual class and how we can make sure that you guys feel really comfortable by the time we're done with this class today. So Jen, if you want to take it away.
Hi guys, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. I'm Jen Dorsey. I am one of the educators with Goldwell. I'm excited to share our knowledge today with you, and I'm so excited to see the turnout that we have today. I hope you guys are just as equally as excited. There are a couple of housekeeping rules that I just want to go over with you. For those that are on their laptop, so if you are on your laptop, look at the bottom of the screen and you have your reactions. If everyone can just click on your reactions, those that have a laptop, and put a clapping, thumbs up, or a laughing emoji, just so I know that you guys can see that. Awesome. The top of your screen, you will find view. Everyone sees that? If you can click that and hit speaker view. The speaker, what this is going to do is whoever's speaking, if it's myself or Jenny, it's going to zoom on the speaker. So that way you guys have a better understanding of what we're speaking about. Those that have an iPad or an iPhone, or if you guys are on Zoom with the phone, at the top of the screen, it's going to say click more. And if there's a drop down menu, if you click on that.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I muted you, Jen, because I was just muting everybody. Make sure everybody's on mute because it makes it easier to hear us.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to re-say that. So if anyone is on their iPhone or their iPad, at the top of the screen, you're going to see click more. There's a drop-down menu, and if you click on that, you have a chat button, and then you also have little emojis. If everyone can hit one of those emojis so that way I can see that you guys are all on the same page. Cool, thank you. So iPad or laptop, you guys are gonna see that little chat. If there is something that you guys have a question on, we're gonna keep you on mute. And if you guys don't mind, we're gonna keep your screens off. So if you guys have a question, please write in the chat, and either myself, or Jenny will be able to answer that at the end of the class. Sound cool? Awesome, okay.
If it's something relevant to exactly what we're speaking about at that point, while if Jen's doing a little bit of the presentation, I'll try and jump on and man the chat, and vice versa. If I'm speaking, she'll man the chat. But in the event that, it's something that maybe we could address a little later, we'll make sure that towards the end of the class, we'll go through everything and that all of your questions are asked for sure. Answered for sure. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and move forward and get started. And I'm going to share my screen with everybody. And we are going to pull up a PowerPoint. Woohoo! Visualization. So we're going to start from the beginning. Now, if I could just see on your screens, if you want to use the little reactions that Jen spoke about and give a little thumbs up, or if your face is on the screen, you want to give me a little wave that you can see my PowerPoint. Great. Thanks, Agatha. Let's take a look. Yep. So, and if there is a glitch or if there's something going on, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll take care of it. All right. So that being said, let's move forward and let's talk about New Wave. So here's the story with New Wave. The big catchphrase is don't call it a perm. New Wave is a revolutionary new way of getting, of getting texture and body to the hair. It is a new process that actually creates some waves and movement. It basically deconstructed what a perm was and deconstructed the chemicals that are in a perm and created this really gentle, really soft way of helping a client create natural, effortless, soft wave and movement, and really help a client add longevity to their style, add more body to the hair, which is what a lot of people are looking for these days. So it is, again, it's not a perm, but it is a semi-permanent way to create wave, create texture, and create body in the hair. The technology that Goldwell has come out with is called the Smart Control Bond System. So that is the proprietary technology that is creating this incredible semi-permanent way of adding body and adding wave to the hair without having to worry about over processing, because that is that's one of the biggest worries, I think, when we were doing traditional perms or traditional body waves was, these chemical services that were, that we were more concerned with, creating that cotton candy damaged hair, this is it with this new technology, we don't have to be so fearful of that. Now, that being said, this is a chemical service, so we need to be very, respectful of that. And, just like any chemical service, I mean, doing, a regular single process with an ammonia, a color that has ammonia in it, or maybe a double process blonde or lightener, just like anything else, we definitely want to be respectful and conscious of what we're doing. However, as Jen goes into some of the products that we have, she'll show you how a traditional perm solution has gotten broken down into a new formula that does create the opportunity to do all different hair types, including damaged hair or pre-lightened hair, which is something a little bit more unique to this service as well. It's extremely caring and extremely gentle, and it also replenishes things like keratin, panthenol, amino acids in the hair, and it'll rebuild and strengthen the hair and the bonds within the hair. Those bonds, I think, are so much, it's such a buzzword, ever since, there's been all these, iPlexes and Plex this and Bond Pro, and there's all these different services that we provide now that consumers are actually even aware of the bonds that make up the hair and the keratin, the protein that makes up the hair. And so that being said, it's important that we explain to our clients that a service like this will actually help strengthen them and create, a beautiful, healthy wave and healthy texture and healthy body in the hair that is unlike some other services that they may have had in the past. The important thing to remember that it is a semi-permanent service. And the reason why it's considered a semi-permanent service, it is going to last up to 3 months, as opposed to permanently shifting the bonds and changing them the way a traditional perm would. In this case, you're softening the bonds. You're allowing them to be more pliable and bendable so that the hair can be adjusted into that new texture, but without breaking anything down. And that's where we really get into that conversation about the whole process being healthier and the hair looking and feeling healthy after the service. So because of that, because of how gentle it is, the whole process has been broken down into steps. So the first step would be the prep cream, and Jen will go through each individual product with you, so you have a little bit more insight into each product, what they are. Step 1, you're applying the prep cream. And in this step this is where you're going to actually start softening that hair, softening the bonds in the hair, allowing them to be more pliable and getting ready to take the shape of the new wave roller that we have. Then there's the shaping lotion. So now that the bonds have been softened, this shaping lotion is actually going to promote a shift in the hair. So it's a very controlled way to allow that hair to create the shape that you've put in the hair with the roller. There's a replenishing serum. And this replenishing serum is going to infuse keratin, amino acids, and panthenol in the hair to help rebuild the integrity of the hair. So now with the prep cream and the shaping lotion, we've softened those bonds, we've softened that cuticle, we've softened the cortex of the hair, we've been able to kind of make it move in the direction that we want it to go. Now we're going to replenish it, and we're going to make sure that the hair is nice and strong prior to locking the service in and locking that new shape in the hair. And that's done with step 4, which is the lock-in fluid. And it's going to finish the shape change process, and that it's going to lock everything in, seal those bonds that we've now just kind of maneuvered a little bit into this new texture. Jen, how are we doing in the chat? Are there any questions, comments, concerns?
We had one question. I'm not sure if anyone has seen, but the question was, does it smell like a perm? So it does not. It does have a slight scent to it, but we do have a product that will mask the smell at the end and actually hydrate and condition, which is really exciting. So we definitely will get into that a little bit later. But as of that, we don't have Any other questions?
Thank you. It's a great question though, too, because I think that is a concern that a lot of people do have is, you know, the fragrance. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jen and she can go ahead and take a look at the actual products that make up this different steps and are in the service.
So we have all of your products. This is your prep cream. This starts the shape change process by gently softening, just like Jenny said. It's going to come into a pouch just like this. You're going to have about 2 to 4 applications that you would be able to use with this. The next step would be your processing lotions. It comes in a box like this. You have step 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to take this out of the box. You have your step 2 is your shaping lotion. Now, this activates the softened bonds and promotes a controlled shift into the desired shape. Now, in this one bottle, if you have a shorter hair client, you're going to use at least half of this, which is 75 mils. If you have longer hair, you're going to use this whole bottle. You have step 3, which is your replenishing serum. This rebuilds the integrity of the hair. It is infused with keratin, amino acids, and panthenol. Again, shorter hair clients, you're going to use half the bottle, and your long length clients, you're going to use the whole bottle. Step 4, you have your lock-in fluid. This is going to finish the shape change and process by locking in the bonds. So this is going to ensure that this lasts up to 3 months. Again, shorter hair clients, you're going to use half the bottle, and then the full bottle you're going to use on your longer length clients. The point of using the whole bottle or half the bottle, when we get into our rollers, you want to make sure that your hair and the rollers are fully saturated. The good thing about the rollers when we get into them is they really hold in the serum and the locking fluids, so it doesn't drip, which is really nice. Jenny, can you hit the next slide for me? So now you have your Goldwell System Protector. This is one of my favorite products with the New Wave processing, because this protector kind of gives you like an endless application with your clients. So if anyone is damaged or over processed and they still want to get some movement in their hair, you can add your protector into your prep cream. And what this does is it actually acts as a bond builder. So it replaces lost bonds in the hair and actually creates a barrier. So that way the hair isn't more overprocessed or more damaged. It's actually really gentle on the hair. You have your hydrator. Now, your hydrator, this was a question in the chat that we had where if it smells, this hydrator actually masks that scent at the end, but also it acts as a conditioning. So it's going to hydrate and condition the hair, which is really cool. We will get into step-by-step how to use it in later slides. But these are the breakdowns of the products. Do you guys have any questions? If you do, please ask them in the chat. Jenny, did we have any questions?
We did. We had a couple of questions that I addressed in the chat, and I'm just going to go over them briefly. Just because they are a part of. So one of them is, you know, as far as procedure goes, in the next couple slides, we're going to talk about the actual procedure of the product, and to use which product and for how long and timing and all of that. So don't worry about that. You do not have to wait 40 hours to shampoo. As far as the minimum length of hair that this could be done on, the most important thing to remember is not so much about the length of hair, it's more about the texture and the density of the hair. So if you think about it this way, so this is a very mild formula, and when we start looking at the different wrap techniques with the rollers, you'll see that it's not meant to give you a tight curl. So that being said, if you think of somebody with thick, coarse, heavy hair, that might not necessarily be the ideal client for this, just because the weight of it is going to stretch that wave out even further. So it's somebody more that has finer textured hair, somebody that's really looking for a softer wave, looking to get longevity out of their style, shorter hair that's looking for more body as opposed to wave, that kind of thing. So you can do it on longer hair, but if the hair is very coarse and dense and long, you might not get as much wave out of it because of the gravity of it, is going to be, it's going to be pulling that wave down. So there's a total of 6 products, correct? So there's a total of 6 actual products that are in the, the step 1, the prep cream, the shaping lotion, the replenishing serum, the lock-in fluid, the protector and the hydrator, which are more for like niche, to make sure that if the hair's compromised, you would use those. But they are 4 products, 6 products in the whole line. And the reason it's done that way is to really break down, the service in such a way that you're not shocking the hair into, breaking bonds and then sticking them back together the way a regular perm does. In this case, it really works very gently to reshape the hair, but you'll see when we get into the next few slides that the process moves along very, very quickly because some of these products are layered right on top of each other, one after another.
Jenny, can I mention the shelf life? Once everything is open, there's a 12-month shelf life.
Yes, good question, whoever asked that. So I wasn't sure about that. Thank you for picking up on that, Jen. 12-month shelf life.
Yeah.
Thank you. It can be used on chin length hair, bob, even shorter hair that, really you just want to get that lift at the root, as long as the roller, and Jen's going to show the rollers, as long as the roller can wrap around completely in the hair, then it's totally fine to be done. As one of the questions in the chat is cost per application. So I'm going to turn it over to your sales consultant to go over that. She'll break your sales consultant, Mary, it's Nicole with you, and even Amanda can go over that with you as well. But I would talk to your sales consultant about it because then she can get into the, the intro packages, and she could talk to you about the cost per each product, and she'll be happy to discuss the cost per application. We actually have a nice sheet that she can share with you, and all of you for that matter can speak to your sales consultant, no problem. As far as cost per application. If hair is wavy already, will it give more body and even the wave out? And do you want to take that one?
Yes. So it's not recommended if someone has texture already. It will loosen up the texture that you have, but it's really recommended for clients that are a finer texture, straighter texture, to give them more body and to give them more lift. It's not going to recurl their texture because it's not a curling service. It's more of a waving service. So it's actually just going to loosen up already what they have. So if that is what they're looking for, then I say yes. If that's not what they're looking for, then maybe the service wouldn't be for them.
Yeah, the shape of the curl that you get from these, and again, we're going to get into that in the next slide, or in a few slides, we'll talk about that. But the shape that you get from this particular roller, it's not a uniform curl that you get from a traditional perm rod. So if you think of what a perm rod is, it's that hard round surface that creates a very uniform curl. With the way that this roller, because it's not really a roller, it's more of like a wrap in the hair, it doesn't create the same type of uniformity in the hair. So it might be a little bit different. If they do want to just kind of soften their texture and stuff, then yes, then go for it. Somebody can't get in the meeting. All right, well, I'll take a look when Jen is about to go over her slides, and I'll take a look and we'll try and figure out how to get somebody in the meeting. Hair that has keratin in the past, I don't recommend that just because it's such a gentle service. I don't know if it could break through the keratin treatment, depending on, I mean, and a lot of that will depend on how long ago the person had their keratin treatment. Repeating who it's recommended for. So the ideal client that this is recommended for is somebody with finer textured hair, limp hair, somebody who wants wave, texture, body, more volume in the hair. It's not necessarily somebody who's looking for a tight curl or a very uniform wave. It's going to create a lot of texture. And we have some done mannequins that Jenna will be showing you guys so that you can see what kind of texture we're talking about in just a minute. This isn't a tension wrap. I'm not sure what you mean by that. All right, some people can't see the screen too, so I will make sure, maybe I'll stop share and start again. All right, so I think I answered everything that has been.
Yeah, I think we answered.
I think we're good. Do you want to go back? But yeah, so the ideal client is really somebody who's looking for body, texture, movement, hair, a little bit of wave, somebody that when they curl their hair, it falls out right away, that kind of thing. The only person that I wouldn't really recommend it on is somebody with thick, coarse, heavy hair. And again, it's the gravity that we're talking about, that if it might pull the wave down so you don't see it as much as somebody with a little bit of a lighter hair, you know, that kind of thing. Will it affect hair color? Jen?
Do you mind if I take this one?
Go for it.
So will it affect the hair color? I was anticipating this question. So when you're doing this service, you want to wait you want to do this service 2 weeks before the color service or 2 weeks after this color service. You don't want to do it in the same day because that will affect the hair color. If you do it 2 weeks prior or 2 weeks after, it's not going to affect the hair color at all. I've actually had I did it on my cousin actually, and it alternated the color just to kind of see what would happen the day of. And it did, in fact, alternate the color the same day. So we recommend doing 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after. You can use color-ons glaze at the end of your service if you wanted to. I hope that answered your question.
So the answer is color 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, in case there is a shift.
Yes.
And yes, the ingredients will be on the package, I believe on Goldwell's website as well. What volume developer can you use 2 weeks after? I would say your traditional formulation, correct, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever your formulation is, you can go for it 2 weeks after. So would you consider this a wear out service? Yes. So the
Really?
service actually, because it's semi-permanent, it's not something that you're going to see or feel in the hair long term. So after about 3 months, the hair starts to kind of shift back to, its original form and texture, which is very unique.
Are you ready to get into how the product works?
And then somebody else asked about if someone has a wave, does it enhance the wave? Again, it's just going to create a little bit of texture. Like it's going to create a different texture in the hair. It's not a traditional perm rod that creates that very uniform wave in the hair. It's a very, and you'll see in the upcoming mannequin that it's a more, it's very like texturized and body. So, and there's a lot of body. So it'll alter that texture a little bit, to alter that wave a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily create a tremendous amount of uniformity. All right, how long before? All right, so let's get into, so there are some more questions. We're gonna table them for a second, and we're gonna get into the procedure because the procedure might answer some of these questions. And have Jen take it away with the actual process of the service.
So when you're working on your new wave application, you're going to shampoo with your regular dual scented shampoo, rich repair, color extra rich, any of those. You're going to dry really well. You're gonna apply your prep cream with a bowl and a brush on your towel dried hair. You're gonna apply with a brush and let it sit for 20 minutes. After that 20 minutes you're gonna rinse, you're gonna towel dry, and then you're going to start your wrapping process, which we are going to demo in a little bit, so that way you guys will see. But this is what your board is gonna look like. Then you're gonna apply your step two. Your step two, you're gonna fully saturate. Again, if you're working with shorter hair, you're gonna use half the bottle. If you're working with somebody with longer hair, you're gonna use the whole bottle. You're gonna let that sit for 15 minutes. Then you're gonna use your step three. Step three is gonna apply right on top of step two. And then your step four, sitting for 10 minutes. You're going to unwind. So when you're thinking about a new wave, you're gonna unwind instead of rinsing with your curlers in. You're just gonna unwind, take them out, rinse really well. I would say count like 30 seconds while you're rinsing, and then you can apply your hydrator after. Jenny, can you hit the next slide for me? So again, I'm going to go back to your damaged hair, your damaged texture. When you're working with your damaged texture, you're going to add your prep cream and your protector. These two are going to be mixed equal parts. You're going to mix that as well. Shampoo, towel dry, and apply this directly onto the hair. You're going to let it sit for 10 minutes. Again, your steps are rinse, towel dry, and then apply your rollers. You're going to apply your step two, your step three, and your step four, and you're going to let them sit for 10 minutes. Now your hydrator, I'm going to just say this one more time. Your hydrator is going to act as your conditioner, your leave-in conditioner, and it's just going to kind of close the cuticle back down. I'm going to answer some of these questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to tackle some of them too as they pop up.
Okay.
The charging, we're recommending anywhere from about $150 to $250 for the service, depending on your market, depending on, what you get, for services that take a similar amount of time, that kind of thing. I got how long before shampooing? You can shampoo the next
48 hours.
Oh, it is 48 hours.
48 hours, yeah.
I apologize. I think before I said you don't have to wait 48 hours. You do have to wait 48 hours. So let me clarify that for anybody who asked that prior. And in the chat, I said no. Thank you, Jen. She has more experience physically working with the product. So thank you for clarifying that. So 48 hours to watch the service out. Is it safe to do back to back? Yes, it's safe. Obviously use your judgment. It is still a chemical. You want to be careful, in some cases, if the hair is already compromised or damaged or whatever, you know what I mean? Just be careful, but it's a relatively gentle service. You can do it back to back. How long is the rinsing? How long do you rinse the product, Jen? For?
I would say 30 seconds to a minute. Make sure that it's rinsed really well.
And Agta is correct. So make sure you speak to your sales consultants regarding the literature that we do have on hand for some of these, for this service, for the New Wave service. It has a lot of really great information for you, including, this is pretty much where all the slides come from, is this piece of literature right here. So feel free, please talk to your local consultants regarding the New Wave service, and they can get you plenty of literature on this so that if you do have questions going forward, once the class is over, you can definitely get some more information on the procedure as well. There also is a lot of information online regarding the service. and lots of videos. So we're going to be moving along to some of the videos too. We're going to show you some of the YouTube video, one of the YouTube videos. But if you go on Goldwell's YouTube channel, you can find some really great information there and videos on how to do the service there. Jen, how are we doing on the chat? Are we good? Should I move on?
Yeah, good. Just a little clarity. You could do permanent color after 48 hours, color on stay. Yes, thank you, Amanda. You could do permanent color after 48 hours and color on stay of after you have done the new wave.
Okay. So earlier, Jen, you mentioned something about 2 weeks for the color service post. You know, I think use your judgment. If you had any shifting in the color, if your client is not happy with their color after the service, I can't see why they, wouldn't be, and you want to do, color-ons or top sheet or whatever, that's, what Goldwell is recommending. But again, use your judgment. Amanda also has, so Amanda's our liaison. She works directly for Goldwell and she has some information. So cost per application, $13 to $17, which is very comparable to other systems out there in the market. So that could help you, determine your cost for the service as well. Thanks, Amanda. And yes, Michelle, it is good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play one of our videos from YouTube. It gives you a little bit of insight into the procedure and what these rods, these quote perm rods, or new wave rods, not perm rods, and the system, the board, everything that we talk about. It'll give you some insight into that. And then after the video, we're actually going to go deeper into that. And Jen is going to demonstrate the application of the boards and the rollers. And disclaimer, technology sometimes is my friend and technology is sometimes not my friend. So that being said, I'm going to play the video and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that it works. So that was really for a visual. I apologize if the sound wasn't great, because sometimes, especially with this many people on a call, the sound doesn't always, come through as great. But really, I wanted you guys to visualize what the service looked like from start to finish. And that brings me to the question of how long the service takes. And Amanda had said about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that's including like a finished blowout or curl. Right, Jen? So you can really perform the service in about an hour or so like give or take. And then that last half hour to hour can be a finishing of a styling or whatever, but it's also going to depend on the texture, density, length of the hair, that kind of thing. How many rollers you put in the hair, the regular kit that you guys get, there's 24 rollers that come in the kit. Actually, this is a good time to talk about the products that are in the, that are part of the New Wave system. And by products, I mean the tools that are part of the New Wave system. So if Jen, you're going to be getting set up to show your visualization. So maybe if Anthony or Amanda, if you could manage that for me. Those are some of my friends, my little, my people behind the scenes that can maybe help with answering some of the chat. And I'll be going over the tools that are in the New Wave service or in the process. So I've been saying it a lot. We've been talking a lot about the rollers. And again, you get 24 of these to start, but we do sell them open stock as well. So if you wanted more for your staff or for, yourself, so that when you go to do the service, you have extra rollers, or if it's somebody with, particularly longer hair or whatever. So they're called rollers. However, they're this unique wrap system that it's sort of like a tough fabric, but they are reusable. So the rollers are completely reusable. You're going to rinse, when you rinse the hair, you rinse them out really good. And because you get this great tray with the rollers and with the system, they're great you put them on the little spindles and it will help dry, and they dry out very, very, very quickly. But yes, so these are reusable and they are considered rollers, but they are also wraps. So when Jen does her practical, she's going to show you how to actually load these wraps and how to use them properly. So you have the wrap, have this elastic stick, this stick with the elastic band on it. And I see the chat is like blowing up right now. So I hope somebody's maintaining that. Or I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of questions because this is such a unique system. I'm sure you guys are all very, intrigued by how it works and how the process goes. And so again, Jen will get really in depth on loading, how to make it nice and easy for you to load the roller, how to use your sticks and elastic bands. The sticks and elastic bands don't necessarily need to be used on everybody, but somebody with maybe longer hair, somebody that's got a little bit of a heavier texture, you might want to use the sticks and the rubber band to hold it on tight. So that's what the sticks are for, and she'll show you how that works. You have your New Wave board. So that's what this is called. This is called a board. And I know it looks like something out of Star Wars or something totally, unlike anything you've seen as far as hair goes. But it is, once you start getting used to the process of, loading the boards onto the rollers and really what I would do is I would preload a lot of these, and Jen will explain that to you, but you could preload your rollers. I think there's 3 boards and 24 rollers you could preload, and you could purchase more of these boards if you wanted to. If you do work with an assistant, you can have your assistant load them for you, and that'll make the process go really, really quickly. But in any case, you use the board to, as you saw in the video, to load the roller. And then once the hair, it kind of just automatically, because of the way the roller is designed, it automatically coils the hair into it. And then if you need the stick and the elastic band, great. If not, you leave it in there and you move on with your process. And again, the tray is there to help you. So you would maybe put your, as you can see down in this area here where there's the lines on the bottom of the tray, you could preload some of your rollers, lay them in there and do, 3 at a time, reload, 3 at a time, pop them in. And if you're really only using about 24 rollers for one of the services, it goes by pretty quickly. And I think you'll see that that's the case. So these are the tools of the trade that you'd be working with. Just want to make sure that that the chat is, looks like Amanda is manning. The last step doesn't get rinsed. Listen. We also are using dual senses, curls and waves. That's correct. The last step does get rinsed out. Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan. Hydrator. The hydrator will get rinsed as well because it is kind of like acting like a conditioner at the end of the service. But don't forget, the hydrator isn't a necessary step. That's only for somebody that might be more compromised or their hair's a little bit more thirsty. You could use the hydrator, but you don't necessarily have to. So, but it's just like using a conditioner at the end. Notice the hair. So in that video, yes, the hair does not get wrapped all the way, but we will show you there's a few different techniques, application techniques, just like a regular roller set. When we remember on base, off base, that kind of thing. So in that particular beach wave technique, they're not doing it from the root area because they're looking for just more waviness throughout the mid shaft and the ends. But you can change that, depending, you could change the application technique depending on, what your desired end result is. And we'll show you that there is a different way to apply depending on all of that. How thick of a section per roller? About 1.5 inches. And again, we're gonna show you guys a little bit more in depth right now. If Jen's ready. I don't know if she is. She's gonna go ahead and demonstrate for you guys. So I'm gonna stop the PowerPoint for now. And again, I hope you guys are all on speaker view because then you'll get a better view of Jen demonstrating the process of New Wave and how to load your board, how to apply the roller onto the hair, how thick your sections should be, that sort of thing. So she's going to go ahead and she's going to demonstrate all that for you right now. And, and again, the conversation of on base, off base application is important because really that's going to determine, do you get body from the root? Are you getting more of a beach wave? That kind of, and so we'll show you there's 3 different wraps that we do or that you can do to achieve a little bit of a different look. So I'm going to send it over to Jen and you can take it away.
Hi, can you see me okay? It's good? Okay. All right, so as Jenny explained, you're gonna have your boards. Your boards are gonna come in a box looking just like this. You're gonna get 3 boards. Mine are already preloaded, but what I wanna show you guys is how to load them. So that's gonna be the trickiest part. So your board looks like this. Now, when you're loading your rollers, everyone sees how it says Goldwell. You want to make sure that the highest point of your board, this point right here, is inserted at the last L of Goldwell. So you're going to push that in, and that's how you're going to load your board. Reason being is because when you're loading these in, it's making sure that this roller is going to go away from the head or away from the face. So that way the wave goes away from the face. In this board, you have these little teeth. So this guy's a little anchor or a little hook. This is where you're going to insert the hair. So the hair is locked in. So that way when you push this down, the hair can't go anywhere. And all of that hair is going to travel through the roller. And it's going to be rolled right in here. So let me show you, I'm going to demonstrate for you guys a little bit. Again, what I want to just go over is that this is, you're not getting a curl pattern with this, you're getting more of a wave pattern. So when you're thinking of how to section the hair, you want to take 1.5 inch sections because you want more of a wave movement, not so much a curl. So we're going to start off here. I sectioned her out. The other thing that you want to make sure is that the width of the parting isn't any bigger than the size of the roller. Jenny, can you see that okay? Okay. So how I'm going to apply this is I want my teeth or my anchor facing down. I'm going to put my hair in between. I'm putting my anchor directly at her face, and I'm going to push down my lock. That's going to make sure that that hair goes nowhere. Now I'm going to put my finger on the back of the roller and push directly to her scalp and hold that roller directly at the scalp and pull my board up. Now that hair is inside the roller, and I'm just going to wind it in. And just like that. It's pretty easy. This again is going to be your wave, your beach wave technique. You're creating more of a wave on the ends. I'm going to show you guys one more. Tilt her down a little bit. Cut this in half just because it's a little bit on the thicker side. Jenny, do we have any questions in the chat?
Yep. One is it going to pull the scalp? So I actually had somebody try it on my hair because I wanted to see like what it felt like. I wanted to see if it hurt, you know what I mean?
Jenny, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. So anyway, so I actually had somebody try it on me because I wanted to feel like I wanted to see if it hurt, because it does. It looks like when you go to pull it, you're like, oh, does that, hurt the scalp? The key is it didn't hurt by any stretch of the imagination. It felt more like, like almost like when you do a traditional perm. I don't know if anyone's ever gotten a traditional perm. I mean, I've never actually put perm solution on my hair, but just because I have such thick wavy hair. But we've had to practice in beauty school, the wrapping and everything. And there's a little bit, once it's in the hair, there's like a little bit of tightness on your scalp that would be to be expected. But as you're pulling it through, the way it's designed and the way the hair's locked in that space, it doesn't really pull or hurt at all. If you're concerned and you wanted to just kind of put your finger over where you're going to pull to kind of like help lessen the amount of tension on the direct scalp, if you have somebody that's a little bit more tender headed, that's something that you could do. But it really doesn't, like, it didn't, I think it looks a lot more intimidating than it actually is, to be honest with you. And then once you get used to the process of having that board, already loaded with your roller on it, and you just start, putting them on. It's very similar to sectioning each section with a tail comb, if you think about it that way, and applying a roller set or a traditional perm with smaller perm rods. So, yeah, as far as the thickness, Jen, just to reiterate what Jen said, making sure that you're no wider than the board, because you have to be able to pull it, or no, not even the board, but that you'll see there's like the grooves of what it gets pulled. You just don't want to make sure the section is any wider than this, because it's got to be able to, I just floated across the room, slide through really easily. And as far as the amount of hair that you put in it, you don't want it to exceed the diameter of the roller as well. But no, as far as like feeling it and pulling at the scalp, I mean, it's really as gentle or as hard as you pull. But when I had it done, it didn't feel like anything. You want to answer that, Jen?
Yeah, so I'm going to demonstrate one more time for you. I wanted to wait until you were done, but I want you guys to see how easy this is to take out. So her hair's already loaded into the roller, and all I have to do is just pull this right out. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but the hair is inserted into these little grooves, and that's what's creating that wave texture for you. Now, going back to what Jenny was saying, in the box of the boards, it comes with 3. Now, if you don't have an assistant to help you reload these, I highly suggest having at least 6 or 9 boards preloaded on hand. So that way it saves you time. And then that way you can kind of just roll them after one another. So we had a question too about longer lengths of the hair. So let's say you do have a longer client, or maybe she just doesn't want so much wave at the root. Maybe she just wants some wave on the ends. How we're going to apply this is, again, we're going to open up our teeth. We're going to insert our hair into the anchor, put it directly at the scalp, and pull the hair down. With my thumb, I'm going to lock it in and make sure that that hair is not going anywhere. That hair is not going anywhere. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumb or my pointer finger. I'm going to hold down this little groove behind the board. I'm pushing it directly at the scalp, and that's where I'm going to hold my foundation for this roller. And I'm pulling with my other hand, I'm pulling the board out of the roller. Just like that. Now let's say, for instance, let's say her hair is hanging out because right there, her hair is hanging out because she has a longer length. We're pulling this roller out a little bit. You guys see how easy that is? We're not pulling the whole roller out, but we're pulling it probably to about her mid-length to ends. And then we're going to just roll straight up. So her hair is going to be on the outside of the roller. Now, Jenny mentioned the products that we have as well, the application tools. And we have these little guys. This guy is going to hold the roller in place. So we're going to put this inside the roller. And we're going to lock it in.
Somebody asked what happens if the hair is really long and you have to pull down on the roll. So you just bring it down to the end of the hair, right? And then roll it up?
Yep. So then that should stay. You guys see that? Now, if you're doing a volume, so this is going to give you more of a wave. So you're going to go around the head, taking vertical sections around the head. This is going to give you more of a beach wave. When you want more of a volume wave, you're going to take horizontal sections and you're going to put the rollers on base. Drop my cold.
Do you get enough sticks and elastics for each roller? I believe for each roll, 24 rollers and you get 20.
A pack of
So
sticks.
for each roller gets a stick.
So the application is pretty easy. It's
System with normal perm rods. I was waiting for this question about using this system with normal perm rods. So I don't know if it's been tried. Goldwell's going to say no with lots of capital letters. And the reason being is it's been designed to be used with this particular system. So that's the answer. The system is designed to be used with these rollers. That's my answer. We're gonna go over, Amanda, the 3 different looks as well after she is done. She just wants to make sure the actual application of the rollers is, you know, is shown properly, because I think that that's the scariest part for some people is, you know, the application of the roller. In a couple slides, I'm gonna go back to a PowerPoint and we're gonna show the 3 different application techniques so that you could see what it's like to do it, you know, the different looks.
So this is going to be more of your volume wave. You have different sections. And guys, I have pre-done mannequins. I just wanted to show you how to insert the rollers properly beforehand. But you're going to insert your hair into the hair.
Jen, you're freezing up a little bit.
Am I? Can you see me?
I think you're good now. So if you want to just go back a second and just.
So this is going to give you more of a volume wave. So these would be for clients that aren't getting enough
Still
height.
a little choppy. Is she choppy for everyone? Or is she just choppy for me? No? Okay, then I'm gonna let you. Sorry, my bad.
No,
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so this is going to give you, this is more of a horizontal sectioning. This is going to give you more body at the root. I do have a pre-done mannequin for you guys. This I did with the volume roller technique. So you can see how she has a lot of volume at the root, and the wave that she gets is very natural. I clipped her up to make her a little bit pretty for you guys. Now with my pre-dones that I'm going to show you guys, I didn't put any product in there because I wanted you guys to see what it looks like on natural, just washed, air dried. So once we get into the techniques, I will show you guys what my pre-dones look like. Cool. Does everyone feel, if everyone can do me a favor and put a thumbs up if you feel if you feel good about inserting the hair into the rollers. You guys feel good?
Or at least a little better than you did before getting on this.
Oh, I see a lot of thumbs up. Awesome.
I got some thumbs up. Good. Yeah, and again, it's one of those things that once you do, like, you kind of have to do it yourself, which is it makes the virtual education a little challenging. But once you do, I think it does move a little better. Is that correct, Jen?
Yeah, definitely.
And on a client that is very low density, Aaron had a question about if the client has very low density hair, can you take larger sections and it'll still work? I think, yeah, I mean, I think you want to try and maintain the, like the diameter of the roller, but yeah, I think it will still work. It might not get such a spiral. Okay, so we got a lot of thumbs up, so that's great. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen and we'll talk about the different application techniques. Can you repeat the last section? Agatha, which section? Just about, if the texture, if somebody has a lower density texture, that piece. If you want to unmute yourself, Agatha, and clarify. I trust you.
Hi, I'm sorry. Just the last one that she did, for volume. I just didn't see how she started it.
Oh, yeah,
because it kind of was going back and forth. If you don't mind doing that one again.
Of course I can. Of course I can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to take her out, or actually I'll go right on top of her. All right, if everyone can switch the screen to speaker view. Sorry guys, I lost my comb. There it is. Okay, so we're going to take horizontal sections about 1.5 inches. Now this is going to be on base when you're applying this. You're putting your hair in the anchor, and it's almost like you're twisting the board. You see that, Agatha? You're good? All right. So then you're going to put your teeth down. You're going to hold your thumb underneath the roller, And on the opposite, your opposite hand, you're gonna pull the board out. So the hair is gonna go into the roller and it's gonna roll down. This is gonna be an on-base section. So this is where you're gonna get that volume.
Okay,
What day? was
thumbs
that?
up. Okay.
Awesome. Perfect.
I apologize to you guys because when you're looking at it, I forgot that it jumps to me when I'm speaking and you couldn't see and performing that
No
service.
problem.
When she's talking, I will do my best to keep it, let her talk. All right, Agatha, you can actually go ahead back on mute. And then this way I'm going to go ahead. Thank you for that.
Please.
And then I'm going to, rollers are all one size, by the way. There was a question about the rollers. They're all one size. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint and show you guys some of the different services. Right. So one wave, many looks. There are 3 different quote techniques that'll give you a little bit of a different end result. So I'm going to mute and let Jen talk so that I don't interrupt.
So this is your barely there wave. So again, I left her very natural for you guys because I just wanted you to see what she looked like air dried, no products. I used the curls and waves shampoo and conditioner on her. So you can see it's a very natural, subtle wave. This is the Erica mannequin too, by the way. So if you guys are familiar with the names of the mannequins, you can see that she's very straight. But I love this. It's an effortless wave. For this look, you want to choose a side part and wind diagonal forward onto the face of the heavy side. So if you guys can see the, what's it called? If you guys can see the mannequin on your sheet, you see that it's on a diagonal vertical around the hair and there's 2 rows. So you're going to start right at the part and you're going to go in a circle around her head, creating 2 rows. And this is going to give you that effortless beach wave. Thumbs up if you love this look. Okay. Jenny, if you can hit the next one. So the classic beach wave. So this girl is my demo babe. So I split her in half and this is your classic beach wave. So with this, you're taking 2 rows, vertical sections. Like I showed you in the beginning, not the volume rows. I will demonstrate that again. But this is going to be your classic beach wave. Again, I didn't put any products in her hair because I wanted you guys to see how natural the hair was when you take these rollers out. And to me, this looks like she just got out of the water at the beach, and it's really nice. How you would do this. Let me show you. Take her rollers out. Let me preload my boards for you. And this is going to be vertical sections. So this is a little bit larger than I want, so I'm going to cut this in half. And that's okay if you need to. You're taking your board. Okay, so this I wanted to show you guys as well. So if your teeth are facing up on the right side, if you guys want to make a side note, if your teeth are facing or your anchor is facing upwards on the right side of the head, the roller is going to go towards the face. So on the right side of the head, you want to make sure that your anchor is facing down. Clip your teeth. Push this roller down and pull on the opposite side of the board. So then it should lay just right there. You're going to take your next section. Again, you're going to take your preloaded board. You're going to face your anchor down. Take your thumb and push your teeth down. Take your pointer finger, push the roller down, and then with the opposite side of your hand, you're going to pull the board out. Twist your roller in. And this is going to give you that beachy texture. So you're going to take vertical sections around the head and you're going to do 2 rows. The bigger the sections, the less rollers that you have to use. Obviously, you don't want to go any wider than your roller and you don't want to put more than 1.5 inch sections inside the roller. Cool? Then we have your voluminous bouncy waves. So this one I'm going to show you too. This is more of a bricklaying technique. And this is this girly. So she has a lot of volume at the root. She has that little wave on the ends. And again, this is no product in the hair. Just volume. So I feel like when I am working with a client, I feel like this would be a client that always complains about not having enough lift at the root or enough body. I saw that Anthony mentioned in the chat that this is a great foundation to build on top of your style. So if a client, if you wand their hair or use a hot tool on their hair, and when they leave, they go home, their hair is like flat and it just fell out. I feel like this would be a great additive to give to your clients. So that way, when they do curl their hair, they have more longevity with that style. I know Lisa had a question. Who wants to know about alternating rows directions too? Lisa, can I have you go off mute and just touch base on what you're looking for?
It's actually not Lisa, it's somebody on under Lisa's name, but whoever I want to know about alternating rows, can you, yeah, if you just, I think it's a really good question.
That is a great question.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Hi.
Hi. So my question is, instead of they all go one way, can you have them one go one way and the other rod goes like the other way?
Of course. So that's going to be, these are just techniques that we're showing you on what you can get, but you definitely can be creative with how you want your waves to look. If you want more of like a lived in movement, definitely you can you do one away from the face. If you think about it this way, when you're curling your hair, especially now with like those beach waves with like a wand or a hot tool, a 2-inch hot tool, when you're curling the hair, you tend to go away from the face. And then when you get behind the ear, you kind of alternate forward, back, forward, back. You can definitely do the same thing with your rollers because it's going to give you the same effect. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, let me show you your voluminous waves. Jenny, can you do me a favor and just make sure you mute everyone? I'll unmute myself. I hear an echo. All right, so I'm going to turn her. And when you're working with, switch it to speaker view. Would this be okay to use on a client who's very active in workout classes, always sweaty headed clients? Yeah. I mean, this is going to give them more of like a natural wave if that's what you're asking. So if they are a sweaty headed client, I think this would be great because this will give them a nice lived in texture. So with this, you want to make sure that you're doing a brick lay. With the volume, everything is going to be on base. I'm going to spray her down just a little bit. Preload my board. Jenny, I see some questions popping up. Good. All right, you're going to take your section, comb it out. Again, it's going to be on base. I am doing half of her head because the other half is done already. So now being that I am taking everything on base, you want to make sure that your anchor is to the right of the head. And you want to make sure that you can see your Goldwell. The Goldwell is going to be facing the ceiling because you want the rollers to go down. Pull down, lock in your hair, take your pointer finger, bring it to the bottom of the roller, and pull the board out. Now, if that happens, that's okay, because we have our sticks. This will tighten everything back up. And it'll hold it in place. Cool? Take your next section. Again, it's going to be a brick lay. Brickley Technique. You're inserting your board at the second L, making sure that Goldwell is facing up. You're loading in your hair, pushing down, locking it in. Taking your pointer finger and pushing your roller down. Opposite hand is pulling the board out. And then you're rolling like so. Your next section, you're going to do the same. You guys can see what I'm doing, right? Okay. Insert the board, lock down. Pull out. So you're creating that. Everything is going to be on base, and you're doing Bricklaying Technique to get the volume texture wave. Jenny, how do we feel? Any other questions? Let me read the chat.
The chat looks pretty good. I think that we're pretty caught up right now. I don't see any additional questions in the chat, which is a good sign that I think people feel confident. I am going to move ahead. Let's see. I think that was the last. I'm pretty sure it's the last slide in the PowerPoint. So I will pull it up, and then I think the next slide is just regarding education going forward. But then once we close out the slide, I'm going to stop the share, and then we're going to do a little and make sure that you guys feel really comfortable. We're going to recap kind of the key points from start to finish. Yep. So make sure you check out the Goldwell Education Plus app and the Goldwell Education Plus YouTube channel, because that's where a lot of the videos that we pull from come from the YouTube channel. There's some more in-depth on each service so that you guys could take a look at each one of those services. Are there any waves of wrapping that you don't suggest, Jen?
Yes, so being that I did a demo on you guys with the wrapping, please make sure that when you are doing this service, the hair is shampooed and towel dried. You do your prep cream, and then you do your step 2, 3, 4, and closing it off with your hydrator. My hair was shampooed, but she did get a little air dried. So I just want to clarify that for you guys. Make sure that you are applying on wet hair.
And so also I will answer that in 1 second, Michelle. One of the other questions that I just saw was how do you blow dry the hair after the service? So that's going to be, a preference for each individual client, I would say, is going to, it's going to determine on how they want it finished, really. I mean, if it's, think of your client, if it's maybe a more mature woman that has shorter hair, you might consider doing something a little bit more, like a regular traditional blowout, that just to give them a little bit more fullness or body. If it's somebody maybe on the younger side that likes a really textured beachy wave, maybe they have a really cute blunt bob, that might be something, that might be a situation where you, that might be a situation where you go ahead and blow it out and curl it with a curling iron, maybe do a wand, something like that. So does that answer your question? I believe it does. And then how much do I actually charge for the service? So $225. I mean, I haven't charged anybody just yet. It's a really new service, but I would say $225 is just based on how much time it takes. You could build in to the price the cost of a blowout if you want, and then finish the service and everything. So if you wanted to charge $200 or $230 and have that final blowout built into the price, that's totally fine too. I'm not on speaker view here, gallery view. Yeah, so Jen, will blow drying and curl right after the service affect the curl pattern? No, I don't believe it does. It is actually encouraged, to finish the hair. We really do encouraging finishing a service with every service that we do, whether it's our keratin treatment, whether it's a chemical service, chemical service, hair color. We always do encourage curling, blow drying and curling the hair after. So it's totally fine. I just want to reiterate what was discussed earlier, and that was the 48-hour washing after the fact. Anthony, did you had something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to say, Jenna just texted me on the back. Her computer auto rebooted, so she got kicked from the room. So I just wanted to jump in to support if there was anything needed or any questions.
Thanks, Aunt. So Anthony, I don't know if you guys know Anthony Soriano. He is our senior education manager over at the Cow Corporation for Cow US, and he oversees a lot of what we do as far as education in the United States. A lot of you
Hi,
guys
everyone.
might know him. Thanks, Anthony. So I think how we're gonna finish up is I just want to make sure everybody feels more comfortable than when they got on this call this morning. And I apologize, when virtual education is always a weird dance, and when, I wasn't always thinking that when Jen was doing something to show you guys and I was speaking, that it was popping her off the screen and putting me on. So I hope that you guys all were able to see what it was that she needed to demonstrate and that you really got the information that you needed out of this presentation today. I hear a little bit of feedback. I think that might be a man.
Yeah, Jenny, sorry, I just got a personal question, so I was gonna put it out to the team in case somebody else had this question. Is this okay to use on already permed hair? So I'm assuming that they've had a perm in the past, or I'm not sure how recently, but is this safe to use on already permed hair? I want to give that to Anthony.
Yeah. Am I on? So what I would really look at would be the actual structure of the hair. If like Jenny and Jenna mentioned earlier, if the structure of the hair is already compromised, remember, this is another chemical going on the hair. So you definitely want to err on the side of caution when adding another chemical to the hair. So I would just read the hair, and if you need to use the prep cream and the protector together, you could go ahead and use that for additional protection. Just know that when you are using the prep and the protector together, you want to decrease your timing for the prep cream. So instead of it being 20 minutes for normal healthy hair, it would reduce down to 10 minutes for more compromised hair. So also, Jenny, if you don't mind, I do see some other questions in here that I'd like to tackle. This one, I'm not sure who it's from, but it says, Lisa, if my client asks, why can't we do this with regular perm solution and rods, what would I say? If this was my client, I would simply address the conversation is, do they want a perm or do they want waves? Do they want a permanent structural change to the hair, or do they want just slight movement to the hair? That's going to come in part of your consultation. So this is not a perm, like Jenny and Jenna had said. So if they do want something tight like a perm or more structured like a perm, then I would use a perm. If they want something that is just going to give a little bit of movement and structure and just wave to the hair, then I would move on to the new wave. So it's all a matter of choosing the right service for the canvas that you're working on. If they want that perm and that tight everyday wash and wear look, go with the perm. If they are wanting to style the hair and use this as a foundation for additional structure to the hair, then by all means go with new wave. I hope that answered your question. Dawn Scola, will this compromise the ends of the hair that the client will need a trim? My question to you is, what's the starting point of the structure of the hair that you're working on? If it's already compromised, you may need a trim. Again, just err on the side of caution when you're utilizing new wave. Again, it is a chemical. So yeah, that's what I have. I hope I was able to answer those questions.
Yeah, Anthony, thank you so much. I think that that's very good clarification. I think just in any case, no matter what service you're providing for a client, I think the most important thing is just expectation of for your client, and really making sure that the expectation of the final result is where you need to be and where they need to be. Having the right consultation, having the, the proper conversation, even if, if somebody might come in and have 100% gray hair or white hair and you might want to use a demi-permanent on them that only gives you 75% gray coverage, but they wanted 100% gray coverage, that expectation is going to bring them to a different place than, it doesn't mean that color-ons doesn't work or, it's not, you didn't do a good job. It's just, choosing the right tool for the job, I think is always important, and making sure that your expectations are aligned with the client is always the number one priority for sure. So just to recap a few things, again, there are 4 necessary steps in this service: the prep, utilizing the prep cream, utilizing the shaping lotion, the replenishing cream, and the lock-in fluid. In the event the hair is somewhat compromised, you can use the protector in your formulation and then the hydrator at the end of the service, which is going to add some extra moisture to the hair and a little bit more of a health factor. The tools used are the rollers that we set, these interesting rollers, and Jen, I think, did a really good job at demonstrating how to load the rollers and how to use the rollers and apply them into the hair. Once you get in there, you guys can, you can really play with them and get comfortable with the service. And I think you'll find that you'll be able to move it along pretty quickly. You got your boards and your elastics and sticks, and then the tray that's going to keep it all very organized for you. There are different ways to put the rollers in the hair, as we previously showed you guys. And in that case, just like you almost have to kind of go back to beauty school in your mentality when it comes to wrapping and thinking about, the way you would put rollers in the hair or perm rods in the hair. There's spiral perms, there's piggyback perms, there's different ways that you used to wrap a traditional perm to create a little bit of a different look. And in this case, it's not necessarily the same exact solution or rod, but the actual, the hair still works in the same kind of ways. So depending on how you apply it is how you might get a little bit of a different end result. Anthony, go for it.
Yeah, so there are 2 questions. I'll address both Lacey and Anna Marie. Guess what? There is a shampoo for New Wave, and it's called Dual Senses Curls and Waves. It's the best shampoo to help support the New Wave product. Also, for those of you using computer, I just dropped a PDF with all of the New Wave semi-permanent YouTube channels. So that way you could just click on them, and if it's something that you want to show your staff, it's just a great way to help reinforce the information that both Jenna and Jenny shared with you today. So feel free to click and download those. And the other question is there any way I could see this PowerPoint or get this PowerPoint? Good news, phone number, this has been recorded, so Jenny and Jenna will be more than happy to share that with you.
Yes, I'm going to be getting the PowerPoint to all of your sales consultants once we're totally completed. And so they will have the link, and we will also be putting it up on DePasquale's YouTube channel. So you will have a couple of opportunities to go back and rewatch the PowerPoint. I know between the PowerPoint and the presentation and everything virtual and bouncing back and forth with different people speaking, you might want to go back and kind of take a look a little bit more in depth, with the information. Most of the slides from the PowerPoint, like we said earlier, come directly from this activation guide. So I'm going to make sure that all of your consultants bring activation guides to your salons so that you get the opportunity to see the information firsthand. Maybe you could have them in the back room so that, the procedure, everything is in here. All the information regarding the services, all the information is all right here. So I'll make sure you guys get that. And like I said earlier, it is being recorded, so you can go back and take a look. To reiterate, the proper client for this service is anybody that wants to add texture, body, movement, create longevity in the hair, that's not looking for a traditional, spiral perm end result for sure. Again, up to 3 months. As I said, as Anthony just mentioned, and we had said earlier, the Dual Senses Curls and Waves is a great product to use for this because it has a milk protein in it that's going to help reinforce that technology and help support the service. So definitely encourage that with your with your new wave service for sure. The service can take anywhere, again, from about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how your finishing is and what your finishing looks like. We said about $13 to $17 an application. So that should give you an idea of what maybe you should charge for the service, for sure. I want to go back and reiterate the 48-hour shampooing. I apologize, in the chat, I said that you can shampoo it sooner than that, but it is a 48-hour policy, a 48-hour shampoo from the time you finish the service to when your client should shampoo next.
Jenny, I'm just gonna jump in and just talk to you guys as salon owners, and I apologize that I am not on camera today, but I'll bless you with my friendly voice. I know this past year, you know, we did, as salons as wholes and as a whole and owners, you know, repositioning of pricing for some. And I think a lot of people have had opportunities with junior stylists and assistants. And when we think about a service like this, I want you guys to think about the opportunity. And I've had some meetings with salons that maybe they go, oh, I don't do a lot of perms. And the good thing is this isn't a perm, but everybody is looking for texture nowadays, whether it be more volume, whether it be more opportunity for their hair to go in a direction that they want it to go in. And I think a great way, especially if you're trying to build those services, as many of our salons are, right, and recoup some of the money from 2020, it might be an opportunity to look at, if you see an average of 1,000 clients a year, whether you focus on that 10% of clients. If I get 100 clients in the door and offer them an opportunity for a texture service, if you're charging $200 a pop, maybe it's different. We say 150 and up, depending on what your pricing is and what you look at your, you know, output per hour. But if you can look at it, getting 100 clients for the year, that's $20,000. And you look at that cost per application on, even on the high end, if you're going at 17, you know, for the head, you're really looking at a minimal amount, $1,700. And you know, I know there's commissions and things like that, but it's a really great way to think about some promotions too. As Anthony said, Curls and Waves is the recommended support product, and you can build a package out of it, maybe with a Curls and Waves shampoo and conditioner as their take home after they receive their service. There's a lot of things that you can do with it. And I think, especially if you guys could see me, I am an ideal client. I never get lift out of my hair unless my wonderful stylist does it for me. So I think there's some great opportunities for you guys there. And I'm excited that you were able to join today.
And Amanda, to that point, you said you only get lift when your stylist does it for you. But let's say if you were to get your hair styled in the morning, traditionally you're seeing your hair start to flatten out or reduce in its volume by mid-afternoon. What New Wave is going to do is it's going to help anchor and keep that support or that style longer for you. So for the client who does struggle with that volume or maintaining that style throughout the day, this is a great way and a great additional service for them to keep that style throughout the day.
Very good point, Anthony. Thank you.
Hi, guys. We just lost
We
Jenny.
missed you.
We just lost Jenny. Her computer just shut off. How are we doing?
We're good. We're good. In your absence, we did a revisit on a few things, such as the client in which it's designed for, the cost per application, the timing for the service, and then just a few other questions that had popped up. So yeah, so I think we got that. Any other questions that anybody might have?
And feel free to go off mute, guys, if you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
ask questions live, or if there's something that you need any of us to revisit. Like Jenny said, the beautiful part of virtual world kicks people out and they come back in, but we're all a team here, and we just want to make sure that you guys all have your questions answered.
So if you want to come off mute and ask any questions, Jenna and myself will be more than happy to answer.
Please do.
Yeah, I got kicked off, but I'm back in case anyone needs anything.
It's a good thing that we keep getting kicked off like after the demo. Now that everyone has seen it. I got kicked off too.
How much is the starting kit? So you guys definitely should talk to your sales consultant about that, but we do have a couple different options. One is, I believe, $179 and you get some curls and waves to try in that deal, and then there's one for $149 as well. Which is a very, very affordable way to get involved. And in that, you get everything that you need to get started. You get your starter kit that has the rollers, the rods and the sticks with the bands, your boards, you get your solutions to perform the service. So really, really very affordable way to get involved in the New Wave service for sure.
And Jenny, would I be speaking out of turn if I said that everything is also available open stock as well?
Not at all. You're absolutely right. I mean, obviously there's a savings to the promotions that if you, there we go.
Right, after they went
There's a
through their
yeah, exactly. That if you buy the promotion, you get some complimentary things going on in there. But yes, everything is also available open stock. So if you wanted to, even get additional pieces of the tools, the toolkit, you can go ahead and do that as well. Like Jen, recommends having some extra boards. Since 3 come with the kit, you might want to order some of these open stock. And your local consultant can go through all the pricing for all of that for sure. Is it okay to do a highlighting surface the same day prior to the wave surface? You guys want to take that?
I wouldn't recommend it. I would wait at least 48 hours prior to Anthony, and then doing that. And if you are going to highlight prior to the service, make sure that you are using your protector cream in with the prep cream, just giving it that extra comfort.
And these headbands are amazing. When Jenny was talking about the open stock items, these are fantastic to wrap around each guest's hair. And, taking into consideration with the current climate, you might want to offer or get a few more. They're really cool. They snap and they help protect the hair or protect the skin from any spillage that may occur. So these are really great as well. And I just fashion showed it to you.
Gonna break out into a workout.
All right, so I think that we've pretty much touched on everything. Again, if anybody wants to come off mute briefly just to say anything or add anything or give a question or whatever, now's the time to do it. Speak now or forever hold your peace. And then again, we've recorded this, so you'll have the opportunity if you'd like to see it on our YouTube channel or to see it through your sales consultant as well. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you to everybody who signed on today. I hope that you really got some more insight into this great new service that is, like Amanda said, is a great opportunity to offer something. Aaron, did you have something to say?
Yeah, quick question on clients that maybe have had aluminum in their hair. I know aluminum gets affected a lot differently than other colors, and how this reacts with aluminum.
We were having a really good day and you had to go and bring that up. Yeah, it has been tested on hair with aluminum and it's considered color treated hair, so you would be fine.
Okay, all right.
Great question though.
Great question, Aaron. Thanks. Hope you're doing well.
I am, yeah. All good now.
Good, good. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Carla, I see you. You have nothing you want to say, Todd? All right. And on that note, Anthony, Jen, Amanda, does anyone have anything else that they want to? Oh, Carla, what do you got?
No, I came in late, so I missed some of it, but when I did tune in, your explanations were awesome. I had already read some of the material, and I'm just so much looking forward to playing around with it. So thank you for your help, because I drove you crazy with information, but no, I think it's going to be awesome. I really do. I think there's a great market for it. And I'm going to go back and look at the YouTube, and you guys, what I've seen is awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
And I just have one final thought. You know, I keep hearing people like Carla say, I can't wait to dive into it and offer it into the salon. Think about this, friends. New Wave is unlike any other service out there. So this is a brand new service. There's nothing like it out there. So when you take it into the salon and when you're using it, the system in your salon with your clients, this is something new for your salons. So think of it that way when you're positioning it on your salon menus or to your teams, that there's nothing like it. But just be sure to do it justice by letting people know that it will give you a wave, not a curl.
Thanks so much, Anthony.
Sure
Thank you,
thing.
guys. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for everyone who participated. Thanks for all the great questions that you guys asked. I think they really helped with, letting everybody understand a little bit more about the service and everything. So I appreciate your participation for sure. And everyone have a great day and a great week. And salons can open up a little bit more in New Jersey now. We got a little bit more. Yay.
Yay!
So everyone, let's go. Let's do some New Wave services. Thanks so much, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.